All right, let's talk about student loans. If you're dealing with them, you know it feels like you're standing at a massive fork in the road. And honestly, the path you choose right now can literally shape your financial life for decades to come. So let's dive in, map out the strategies, and figure out the best choice for you.
And the stakes, they are incredibly high. Just look at this number. For some folks, like law school grads, the average debt is $145,000. That is a huge number, and a number that big absolutely demands a smart, deliberate plan.
So here's our game plan for today. We're going to start at that fork in the road, then explore the two main paths, what I call the debt sprint and the debt marathon. After that, we'll get into the brand new save plan, which is a total game changer. Talk about how you can choose your own adventure, and finish up by seeing why just having a plan in the first place is so powerful. At its heart, student loan repayment isn't really about one right way to do things. It's a choice between two very different philosophies. Are you going to put your head down and sprint to that debt-free finish line, or are you going to settle in and play the long game?
Okay, let's break it down into a really simple rule of thumb. You've got path one, the sprint. This is you going all out, trying to pay those loans off as fast as humanly possible. This is probably your best bet if your salary is bigger than your total debt. Then there's path two, the marathon. This is a long-term play, making minimum payments, aiming for forgiveness down the road. This is usually the better route if your debt is bigger than your salary. It's a simple idea, but it's a really powerful place to start your decision.
All right, let's dig into that first path, the debt sprint. This strategy is all about focus. It's about momentum, and it's about getting that debt off your back as quickly as you possibly can. Now, even within the sprint, you have two popular tactics. First up is the debt avalanche. This is the pure math, logical choice. You make minimum payments on everything, but you throw every single extra penny at the debt with the highest interest rate. This saves you the most money on interest, period. But then you've got the debt snowball. With this one, you actually ignore the interest rates and you focus on paying off your smallest debt first. Why? Because it gives you these quick psychological wins that build momentum and keep you motivated. And here's where you can really see the difference it makes. This example from Investopedia lays it all out. With the debt avalanche, you'd pay just over $1,000 in interest, but with the snowball, it's over $1,500. That is a $500 difference, even though both plans get you debt-free in the same amount of time. The math doesn't lie. The avalanche saves you cold, hard cash. So, what's the bottom line here? It's a classic battle between pure math and human psychology. The avalanche is, without a doubt, the most financially efficient way to go, but it takes serious discipline. The snowball might cost you a bit more in the long run, but you know what? Those early wins can be the motivational fuel you need to actually see the plan through. You've really got to know yourself and what's going to keep you in the fight. Okay, let's switch gears completely and talk about path two, the marathon. This is not about speed, this is about endurance. This is the strategy for people who are playing the long game, especially those with really high debt who happen to work in public service.
And the most famous marathon out there is the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program, or PSLF. It might seem complicated, but it really boils down to 5 key steps. You got to have the right kind of loan, work for the right kind of employer, and be on the right kind of repayment plan. Then you just have to certify your employment every year, and after 120 qualifying payments, which works out to 10 years, you can apply to have the entire rest of your balance wiped away.
And the payoff for running that marathon? It can be absolutely unbelievably life-changing. Just read this. This person was grinding it out, but after figuring out the system, forgiveness was suddenly right there. They said a whole world is opening up to me that I previously couldn't imagine. And this just puts that feeling into perspective. That feeling of a new world opening up, it came from having $287,000 of debt completely forgiven. That's the mind-boggling potential at the end of the marathon.
Now, for a lot of people running that marathon, and maybe even for some sprinters, a powerful new tool just showed up. It's called the Save Plan. And believe me, it is a major update to how income-driven repayment works for federal loans. So what makes this plan such a game changer? Well, for one, it can lower your monthly payments. But the killer feature, the thing that changes everything, is how it handles interest. Under Save, if your monthly payment doesn't cover all the interest that piled up, the government just waives the rest. Your balance will not grow. This is huge because that runaway interest was the #1 thing that made people feel like they were drowning in older plans. Okay, we've talked about the two core paths, the sprint and the marathon. We've talked about the new Save Plan. So how do you put it all together? How do you choose your own adventure and build a plan that actually works for your life? Here's a little checklist to help guide you.
Start with that basic rule. Compare your salary to your debt. Then, think about your income security. Are you in a stable career? Because remember, if you refinance your federal loans to a private lender, you lose all those federal protections, like forgiveness. Be honest about your lifestyle. Can you really afford those massive payments for a sprint? And finally, just check in with your gut. Which approach feels less stressful? The best plan on paper is worthless if it makes you so miserable you can't stick with it.
And hey, no matter which path you end up on, there are some quick wins that absolutely everyone can grab. These are straight from the Department of Education, by the way. Sign up for automatic debit. Pay even a tiny bit more than your minimum. And this is a big one. Tell your servicer to apply any extra cash to your highest interest loan first. Use unexpected money, like a tax refund, to make a dent. And always, always check to see if your job offers any kind of repayment help.
And just to show you how easy these wins are, look at this. Signing up for automatic payments usually knocks 0.25% off your interest rate. I mean, it's not going to make you rich, but it's basically free money for doing almost nothing. All these little things really do add up over time.
So, we've gone through the strategies, the plans, the pros and cons, but you might still be sitting there thinking, okay, but does just learning about all this stuff really make a difference in the end? Well, let's see what the research has to say.
Seriously, does the knowledge you're gaining right now actually change the outcome?
The answer is a huge, resounding yes. A 2022 study found that getting personal finance education back in high school leads to way better student loan repayment down the road. And what's really cool is that the effect was strongest for first-generation and low-income students, the very people who often need this info the most.
And we're not just talking about people feeling better. There's hard data here. Students who got that education were 5% more likely to have actually started reducing their loan principal after just 1 year. That is a real measurable win. Knowledge turned into action.
And this quote from the research paper just hits the nail on the head. It says, "The system is so complicated that it pushes people into making bad choices. The complexity itself is the enemy." But you know what? Knowledge is how you fight back against that complexity.
So at the end of the day, what's the single best strategy? It's not the avalanche, it's not the marathon, it's not even a specific plan. It's the act of understanding. It's what you're doing right now. Because once you truly understand your options, you have all the power you need to choose the right path for you.